Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Hope everybody's doing all right today. UFOs. That is my topic for today. I don't believe in them. They are about as real as Bigfoot. I don't believe in Bigfoot either. I think people just have hallucinations or something. Anyway, let's get in with this topic here. I saw it on the news yesterday, and I was really dumbfounded. They got a committee and everything going on with it now, so let's get into it and see what we can do about trying to figure this stuff out. Here we go.
Close encounters on Capitol Hill. The House Oversight Committee will hold a historic hearing today on UFOs. It comes after a former intel official claims the military stumbled upon an alien crash site.
When you say crash retrieval, what do you mean?
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will. It's probably not the right parlance, but no kidding, non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
Wow, exotic. Let's bring in UFO expert Nick Pope. So what do you think he meant by exotic origin?
Well, everyone has been debating whether some of this could be our own secret technology, classified aircraft, military drones, that sort of thing, or something that an adversary has. But he's been very clear. He says, no, this is a non-human intelligence. And he's talked about recovered craft and even bodies. So what I hope that we're going to hear today is something that will enable Congress to validate those claims, because, of course, if they're true, it changes everything.
Do you believe that some of this is going to be classified, is going to be discussed in closed door hearings, or do you expect some of this conversation just to be discussed in public?
Well, I think much, if not all, of today's hearing is supposed to be public. But of course, David Grush, even though he now no longer works in the intelligence community, the law of the land still applies, and he must not divulge classified information. Otherwise, presumably, he will be arrested. So they may have to either go into closed session, or he may have to simply say, I decline to answer that.
So, sir, what do you, on a personal level and professional level, what do you make of all of this? You've been covering this for a while. Is there any validity to it?
Yes, there is. Something is going on in our airspace, and it's not just UFO enthusiasts saying this. This is now coming from the government. They have declassified some U.S. Navy videos of these things. There have been 2 reports from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, some previous congressional hearings, and more to come, and NASA doing a study. And there's no smoke without fire. There is a reality here, but whether or not it's an extraterrestrial reality, we don't quite have that smoking gun yet, but I hope today is going to take us closer to it.
You know, these members of Congress, they get a lot of their questions from their staff. What is the one question you would ask this witness today?
Well, I think it is, what is the name of the project that is apparently set up to handle this? Because until we get that concrete information, it's just rumors. We need to know what the project name is, what agency is running it, and then Congress can hopefully find it. Because, of course, the allegation is that this has been hidden from Congress without them being able to conduct their lawful and constitutional oversight authority.
All right, the members of Congress that are listening, that is the big question to get to the bottom of this. Nick Pope, thanks so much for joining the program.
So, they have a UFO retrieval community, whatever that is. I don't know what it is. I guess if they see a UFO go down and crash somewhere, it's kind of like the FAA, the NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board, goes after and retrieves and investigates. I still don't believe in UFOs. I just don't. I have a hard time with that. But has anyone ever noticed that all of the photos or video that they may have are really grainy? You really can't depict what is in the photo or the video. I just have a hard time believing it. I really do. So, but anyway, I've got a little bit more to go on. This is the House Committee on UFOs that are going to discuss and try to, I don't know if they're going to try to prosecute the whistleblowers or whatever the case may be. Anyway, let's roll this and let's see what we can get out of this mess here. All right, so here we go.
Ms. Mace.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning to our witnesses who are testifying today. I want to thank each of you for being here to discuss a topic of grave importance to our national security. Earlier this year, a Chinese spy balloon was shot down off the coast of my home state of South Carolina. Since the Roswell incident in 1947, many Americans have wondered about the dangers of unknown objects crisscrossing our skies. Whether these are UAPs or weather phenomena, advanced technology from American allied or enemy forces, or something more out of this world. So my first question, I have several questions, and if we can just be quick on these first two, I'm going to ask each of you the same question, and then I'll get to each of you individually. The first one, when you reported your experiences with a UAP, did any of you face any repercussions with your superiors, yes or no?
No.
No. I've actually never seen anything personally, believe it or not. So.
All right. And then do you believe there's an active disinformation campaign within our government to deny existence of UAPs, yes or no?
I don't have an answer to that.
As previously stated publicly, yes. I think previously with like Project Blue Book, yes, but currently I don't speak for the United States government.
Okay, thank you. I have a few questions for Mr. Graves. What percentage of UAP sightings, in your belief, go unreported by our pilots?
This is an approximation based off of my personal experience speaking with a number of pilots, but I would estimate we're somewhere near 5% reporting, perhaps.
So like 95% basically don't report seeing UAPs.
That's just my personal estimate.
In the incident off Virginia Beach, do you believe the Navy took the danger to your aircraft seriously after it was reported?
Absolutely.
A few questions for Mr. Favor. As an expert naval aviator, have you ever seen an object that looked and moved like the Tic Tac UAP?
No.
Did the Tic Tac UAP move in such a way that defied the laws of physics?
The way we understand them, yes.
Many dismiss UAP reports as classified weapons testing by our own government, but in your experience as a pilot, does our government typically test advanced weapon systems right next to multi-million-dollar jets without informing our pilots?
No, we have test ranges for that.
It took over 15 years for your encounter with the Tic Tac to be declassified. Do you feel there was a good reason to prevent lawmakers from having access to this footage?
No, I just think it was ignored when it happened, and it just sat somewhere in a file. Never got reported.
In a drawer. It happens a lot up here. Shocker. Mr. Grush, a couple of questions for you too, sir, this morning. What percentage of UAPs do you feel are adequately investigated by the U.S. government, of the 5% that are reported?
I can only speak for my personal leadership over at NGA. I tried to look at every report that came through that I could triage. So.
Do you believe that officials at the highest levels of our national security apparatus have unlawfully withheld information from Congress and subverted our oversight authority?
There are certain elected leaders that had more information that I'm not sure what they've shared with certain Gang of Eight members or et cetera, but certainly I would not be surprised.
Okay. You've stated that the government is in possession of potentially non-human spacecraft. Based on your experience and extensive conversations with experts, do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
Okay, I can't ask when you think this occurred. If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and you may or may not be able to answer my last question, and maybe we get into a skiff at the next hearing that we have, but who in the government, either what agency, sub-agency, what contractors, who should be called into the next hearing about UAPs, either in a public setting or even in a private setting? And you probably can't name names, but what agencies or organizations, contractors, et cetera, do we need to call in to get these questions answered, whether it's about funding, what programs are happening, and what's out there?
I can give you a specific cooperative and hostile witness list of specific individuals that were in those.
And how soon can we get that list?
I'm happy to provide that to you after the hearing.
Super. Thank you. And I yield back.
Only 95% are, it's not reported. Only 5% is reported. And I don't know if they're meaning that by the Defense Department or, people in general. I don't know. And then they're saying that they have recovered non-human biologics from crash sites. I'd like to know where these crash sites are. Unless they're out in the middle of a cornfield in Arkansas. I haven't seen any, haven't heard of any, and that's what the government, I guess, is trying to hide. And why they're trying to hide it, I don't understand. Because, this is stuff that we need to know. Anyway, Jesse Waters has a guest that's going to speak on this stuff about being threatened for letting this information out. They're starting to fear for their lives because they're letting out this thing. And why are UFOs so top secret? I don't understand that, unless it's our technology, China's technology. I don't know. Anyway, let's roll with this one here, and let's see what we can gather out of this.
So you either get assaulted by the aliens or assaulted by the federal government for talking about the aliens. But this isn't a joke. This information's so top secret, these whistleblowers are worried about getting murdered.
In the last couple of years, have you had incidences that have caused you to be in fear for your life for addressing these issues?
Yes, personally.
Former Department of Defense official Christopher Mellon joins me now. So, Christopher, what else can you tell us?
Well, I think a couple of things are clear from the hearing. First of all, our military is encountering vehicles that far surpass the capabilities of our own frontline aircraft. They're operating on a persistent basis in restricted military airspace. Sometimes they're jamming the sensors on our aircraft. So obviously this is far more concerning than lumbering Chinese balloons. This is something we have to get to the bottom of. The other thing I would say is it's very clear from the hearing today that there's a great deal of information that the government is still not sharing with Congress. The only question is how much information, how extensive is that information?
Are they not sharing it because they want to rip off the tech so other countries can't have it, or they just don't want to scare us?
It's hard to say. I don't know the answer to that question. I think in terms of the workforce, there's a sense of denial going on. I think there has been in the military for a long time. Generally, pilots don't report these things. When they do, people don't want to hear it. They don't want to talk about it. Nobody wants to engage on this topic. However, it is also clear that, at least at a senior level, there has been more investigation. There is more information that has been let on. So there was a discussion of subpoenas today. I think that's appropriate in this context. We learned today they're withholding satellite imagery, for example, which we knew existed because President Trump's Director of National Intelligence acknowledged that we have that. Here we are years later, that still hasn't been shared with Congress. So there's an example of critically important information
But
that
it's more
sheds
than
new,
that now,
new
Chris.
insights that's not being shared.
Sure, but it's now
Yes,
not
absolutely.
just UFO technology. They're talking about the discovery of actual alien life biology. What does that mean?
That's what they're talking. What I'm distinguishing between here is information that the government has acknowledged that absolutely exists that has not been shared with Congress, and other information that may exist that has not been shared with Congress.
So there are aliens, we're saying.
What I'm saying is that I know that we have satellite imagery that has not been shared with Congress, and when Congress sees that, they'll have a better determination of, are these things going at velocities, and are they of a shape that defies, that helps clarify they're not Russian or Chinese, et cetera. So some of this information was new today. Mr. Grush, who's someone I've known for a number of years, provided really startling testimony today. He's not a first-hand witness to these craft or to the beings on board. He does have access to people with the kinds of background and so forth that lend credibility to his testimony, but that remains to be proven.
So that's the last step to this. When you have an actual witness to the alien life to come forward with credentials from the Pentagon, then we're in the end zone. Until then, again, as you said, still a little mysterious. Chris, thank you so much.
This is the United States. This is our airspace. And you're going to tell me that UFOs, unidentified flying objects, can get in between all that aircraft. Now, this is live right at this particular moment that I'm showing you. This is live. That's all the aircraft that are in the air. And you're going to tell me that UFOs are going to get by all this and nobody sees anything? Well, there's something wrong with that picture. I don't believe it. So, with all that air traffic that's going across, actually around the world, I can't see any way that UFOs can actually sneak in between that and nobody see it. I don't believe it. And I'm not going to believe it. When you can show me a Bigfoot, I'll start believing something. But other than that, I don't believe in UFOs. So anybody out there that does believe, well, and if you're watching, drop me a comment. I'm interested. So with that being said, I got to get out of here, so you can subscribe, hit the like, notification bell, and please subscribe. It's free. It costs you nothing. So just hit the subscribe thing, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm going to get back into some music stuff. So anyway, we'll see you in the next video. You guys have a great day, and see ya.